How's it going, you guys? It is VQ Isaac here, back again with another video. And today we're going to be going over Truhart air suspension. I'm basically doing a review on it and whether or not you should cop it or not. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video. Gotta get the shoes in real quick. Sheesh. But here's my 2004 G35 coupe. Oh, this is the bad side. We got the dent right there. But yeah, basically I'm gonna be going over Truhart air suspension and whether or not you should cop or not. I am running airlift 3P management as well, but basically we're gonna be going over the struts. And now there is multiple air companies that you can go with. There's D2, Truhart, AccuAir, Airlift, and I'll basically be going over which one's probably like the best and if Truhart is right for you. So yeah, let's get into it. So the main reason why I went with Truhart air suspension instead of like Airlift or anything else was because of the price. So Truhart is, I believe, $1,000 cheaper than Airlift suspension and any like AccuAir or D2. D2 is pretty cheap as well, but the only reason why as well I went with Truhart is because I did get a discount with Truhart. It's not a sponsorship or anything like that, so I did have like my money, my hard-earned money. I did pay, you know, my hard-earned money to them and everything, so this ain't no like sponsorship or anything, no promotion or anything, you know. But yeah, so the only reason why I went with Truhart was because the price. I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. I mean, it was just the price, you know. I mean, when I was getting airlift or when I was getting air suspension, I didn't know there was like a big difference, you know. I thought like all air suspension was the same or whatever, but I guess it's not. So yeah, I'll give you the reasons why I love Truhart suspension and the reasons why I hate it. So I'll just give you like 3 and 3. I don't want to go too in depth in this, and then I'll show you around with the airlift suspension and everything in my setup. So yeah, so I'll go ahead and show you my setup and everything. So basically what I have is I have Truhart air suspension with the airlift 3P management, and as you can see right here, there's the airlift 3P management controller, and it goes down all the way. The wires are all tucked underneath. It goes to the trunk. Now the trunk is a little bit dirty. I was messing with it earlier, so do not judge me. So as you can see, it's all everywhere. I need to put the wood back together, put everything back together. But this is pretty much how it looks like. So everything's wired like this, you know, 2 compressors, my management, and then you have the big old air tank in the back. And basically you just wire up. It's pretty easy, it's pretty simple install. But I just wanted to show you that. So it is airlift management with Truhart air suspension. Just to give you a little basic rundown. Now I just wanted to show you that just to get like the little basic rundown of how I have my thing set up. So now I'll show you the reasons why I hate Truhart air suspension. So my biggest issue with Truhart air suspension, my number one issue, is basically, it's sort of confusing to explain it, but for some odd reason my PSI levels don't match correctly. So like my rears, they match pretty good. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So basically when I turn on the car and then when it turns on and everything, as you can see, there's the 63 PSI 59. That is the front 2 bags in the front, and the 25 and 27 are the rear bags. So basically if I were to have presets and everything, it doesn't measure correct, because if I go and put so here are my presets. So 122 in the front, 65. So this should technically be my ride height and everything, but for some odd reason, I'll show you, let it go. I'll show you outside. Like, see how it was like at 100 and it's still going up? Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Like the rears are fine, they're ready to go, but the fronts take forever to air up, and sometimes they'll just stay like that as well. We'll come to this side. Let's see, still barely there. Like that would be like rubbing basically. Like, yeah, that would be a good fitment though if it was right there. But as you can hear, it's still going up and everything. But if you were on the go trying to be in a rush, you would scrape hella, because I mean, I'm still on the ground basically, you know. So that is a pretty big issue I have with this. The way I go around that is I just go manually. So here's a good example. So basically you can see right there, it says 124, 121. If I were to go up, so I'm gonna air up right now, I went up and you can see, look at the PSI go back down, back to the same. I do have a little error right now because I don't have the car on, but like it's so not accurate because that's a 126 and it was at 122, and I'll show you the difference now. So there's a difference now. so it's like never accurate or whatever. As you can see now, the gap is way bigger now. So every time I air up or something, to go up like a hill or something, I always have to air up the front, and I have to like kind of wing, like guess where I'm at. So when I air back down, I kind of have to guess where I'm at. With the rears is fine because they'll go back down to like the regular height or whatever. But with the fronts, it's so difficult to like know where I'm at. So if I ever go up a hill or something and I air up and I air back down, I'm gonna have to wing it. Sometimes I'll be scraping, I have to air back up. But I don't know if that's just an issue with Truhart. Both of my friends are on airless suspension and they don't have that issue with the fronts. It works as well as like the rears and everything. For some reason, it is Truhart's only, like, I think it's just their main issue, whatever. But as you can tell now, see how it's 22. And basically that's where my preset was at. So it's all confusing, I don't know. And this would be my CL12 133. That is my, supposed to be my preset to go up like bumps and everything, but it does not work. So I do have to go manually with like these and everything. So it is a hassle and everything. And that is a big issue I have with Truhart air suspension. And it was always like that ever since I got them, since day one. And I tried fixing them. I tried looking up forums or whatever, and I looked up everywhere, and for some reason it doesn't work. Like, as you can see now, it's still 120, 125. It's everywhere. The rears are fine. Like, I could like air up the rears to like 100 or whatever, or 80, and then go back down and it'll be accurate. Like, the ride height will be the same and everything. So I don't know why the fronts have an issue like that. Like, I don't know if it has something to do with the front bags being a single like bellow, and then the rears being a double bellow, or a single sleeve in the front and then a double bellow in the back. But that is my big issue. So that is one reason why I do not recommend Truhart air suspension. So the second reason why I do not recommend Truhart air suspension is the ride quality. Now, the ride quality is pretty good for being bags or whatever, but I felt better, you know, like on my homie's airless suspension, like it feels like coilovers, like it feels regular, like you don't feel the difference with like airless suspension and regular coilovers, you know. But for some reason for Truhart, it feels, the front bags are super stiff and the rear bags feel fine. Like, the rear bags are amazing. Like, I had no issues with the rear bags. I don't know if it's because they're double bellows as well, because the fronts are single sleeve. So I don't know if that has like an issue with anything. But for some reason, like the front, sometimes when I'm driving and I hit like a small pot or something, I feel like the car like jump. I might be over exaggerating that, but like when I'm driving, that's how bad it sounds. Yeah, the ride quality is just terrible. And then, you know, but like, you know, like they say, you know, like you buy cheap, you expect cheap, you know. Huh? Is that what they say? I don't know, it's something like that, you know. But yeah, the ride quality is pretty bad. Especially like when you air up like to like the highest. I mean, either way, with all bags, when you air up the highest, it's gonna like feel like booty cheeks. But like when I do air up a little bit, you can feel like, I don't know, it feels like a basketball. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, you know, like it just bounces. Like, I don't know, like it feels like it bounces, but I don't know if it does. But like for me, it feels like it bounces. And yeah, it's just a horrible ride quality. Like I took this car to Vegas, and I mean, surprisingly, it made it. But I took it to Vegas and everything, and the ride quality over there wasn't that bad. I mean, I had no issues, you know. Some days like the suspension will feel amazing, like it'll feel like coilovers, and some days it'll feel like super stiff, super like hard. Like, I don't know, like I don't know if that's an issue with like the weather, you know, if cold weather has anything to do with that. But I mean, I live in Arizona, so it's pretty hot over here. But yeah, the ride quality, you know, you're gonna have some issues with it, you know. But you know, for like the cost and everything, you know, is it worth it? That's up to you to decide. But that is the second reason why I do not recommend Truhart air suspension. Now, the third issue why I don't recommend Truhart air suspension, it's a little bit like minor issue. It's not like something like, oh, like it's gonna be a deal breaker or whatever. But when you do get these Truhart air suspension, like the struts and everything, the airlines, they just come as like the regular airlines, like the regular black hose, like the plastic PVC airlines. And with Truhart air suspension, they come with stainless steel air hoses, which is really, really beneficial when you're riding. You know, you have like a lot of confidence of your airlines not ripping or whatever. I had so many issues already with multiple airlines ripping in the front. The rears are pretty tucked in, but with the fronts, they're kind of exposed because they have to go to a weird angle. And yeah, I had so many issues with it getting ripped or whatever. And it is a big hassle to deal with because your car, one bag's all the way to the ground, and you can't lift it up, so you gotta jack up one side to lift it up, then jack up the other side. It's a lot of work to do just for like a little air hose. I do not know why they don't come with stainless steel airlines. They should, you know. I'm pretty sure D2 comes with stainless steel airlines as well, but that's another issue too. Another thing is, I guess it could be like a fourth type thing. It kind of adds on to number 3. Is the way you connect the airline. Like for some reason on airlift, you just kind of like, it's like a little plug where you go and you kind of clip out and you can put it in. It's super like simple, but super safe. Like it'll work, you know. But with this air suspension, the way you got to do it, you got to put like a little ring on top of the airline and then kind of like twist it to make it tight. And then sometimes like if you go too tight, it'll pop off. Like you could like seriously just go, like if I'm airlift, like if I'm aired up all the way, you can grab the airline and pull it and it'll come off like that, you know. And it shouldn't do that. That is another big issue. I feel like it's a big safety issue, you know. They should fix that. But I mean, other than that, you know, like I haven't had an issue, like a really big issue with the bags popping or whatever. Nothing like that. Nothing too major. Knock on wood, you know, like whew. Just mainly like the airlines or whatever. But that's pretty much why I don't recommend Truhart air suspension. And now we'll get on to the reasons why I do like Truhart air suspension. So I'll make this kind of short for the reasons why you should buy Truhart air suspension, like why I recommend it. Just because I think you guys should know that the cons are more important than the pros, because the pros are pretty much like the basics, you know. But yeah, so the first pro about Truhart air suspension is the price. Obviously, you are paying $1,000 cheaper than airlift suspension, depending, you know, on if you get like a Black Friday deal. If Truhart gives you a discount, you can even save more money. And the reason why I got a discount is I just hit them up and let them know if I get a discount. They said yeah. But yeah, so the price is really good. There's an orange T37 over there. The second reason why I recommend Truhart air suspension is if you want to go bags, you know, I think it's a good sort of like starting point if you just want to like start and see if you like bags. Same thing with the price point, you know, it's not too expensive where you're gonna like break the bank, but then you can still like, oh, if you don't like it, switch back to the coilovers, you know, something like that. And now the third reason why I love Truhart is the customer service. Like the customer service, they're really good and everything. I'll email them or DM them and they'll reply right away to any of the issues I have. They're super on time, super like communicative, you know. They're super like good, you know. And I sound like I'm promoting them, but I'm trying not to, like, but this is like personal experience with me, like when I hit them up about like an issue. They're super like on point and everything, so that could be good. I don't know if it's just me that they're replying to. I don't know if it's like, you know, their thingy, or if it's like, oh, let me just reply to this guy. I don't know how they work, but I do like how the customer service works. So that is pretty much like the pros and everything. I'm pretty sure there's more, you know, but just all I can think of off the top of my head as of right now. But yeah, so let's get into the review, basically like the overview, and that's it. So basically that is the pros and cons to Truhart air suspension. Now if you were to ask me if I recommend them, it depends on your situation. I feel if you have the money, I would go for airlift all the way. But if you're just starting out, you know, you're on a budget, I do recommend Truhart. Just make sure you do get airlifts, 3P management. That's the only management I suggest you get. Do not go with the manual management, just because I've seen so many issues with that. Some of my friends, they have issues with the manual management. You can't tell where your PSI is at depending on which one you get. And I just feel like with airlift 3P management, the little controller tells you like what's wrong with like the whole setup and everything. There's like a air leak that will tell you. If there's something wrong with the compressor, it'll tell you. So it's pretty cool. But I guess in a way I do recommend Truhart air suspension. You know, it's a good starting point. However, you know, if you just want to try out bags, see if you like them, I do recommend going Truhart air suspension. But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it for Truhart overview or whatever. Hopefully you did enjoy this. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed my video today of my Truhart review. I do plan on posting a lot more frequently, whatever. I do plan on posting a top 5 reasons why I love my G35. Something simple and basic for me to get more confident with the camera, you know. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.